culture is everything. The culture that we thought it had to be was everything is nice and we're making everybody feel good.
And the minute we started holding people accountable, we were like, hey, that's not nice. You're not in line with our culture. We're like, damn, what did we do wrong? When we started hiring employees, you said our company's lacking a culture. And you were like, a company without a culture is like a picture frame with no picture in it. So you've got this, beautiful wrapper of College Hunks brand. That's the way I interpreted it. But there's nothing that's inside that's painting a beautiful picture of what it looks like on the inside.
Yeah.
So how did you realize that? And then how critical has been building this College Hunks culture? Because I always say our culture, our brand, and then the way we execute are really our three cornerstones of differentiation, which is nuanced because anybody can claim service, anybody can claim culture, brand, but I think over 20 years, that's what we've built. But how did you recognize that early on, and what's been some of the keys to creating that culture, which ultimately drives behavior and results?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly how I came up with that quote, but I think, you look at a picture frame, anyone can build a frame, right? It's just wood in a square. But when you look at a picture, you're not looking at the frame. It's the photo, right? Whether it's a family, it's you as a kid, whatever it is, there's this emotional connection to what's in that photo. And it's our job to sort of set the tone of like what that photo is going to look like. And it's really that emotional connection that people have with our organization. And culture is everything.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to.
It is. And I think it wasn't until we started reading some of the books, whether it's Jim Collins or Traction, where it's like, okay, the core values are the guardrails that define the behaviors, the purpose, our why, which you also, I credit you with, move the world. It's got the double meaning. It's making a positive impact in people's lives. It's moving people emotionally, but so we also move stuff. So it kind of, resonates with what we do. And it's the where we're going and why we're going there. Talk about that company purpose, why that's important, why, to your point, we're not curing cancer in this business, but people are dealing with some pretty emotional challenges when they call us, whether it's to move them or clear their clutter away.
Yeah. I mean, we want to move people emotionally is what it comes down to. When you call a mover or a hauler or really any home service business, you're dialing 911. And it's our job to rescue that person from stress, right? If you're calling a plumber, if you're calling a mold company, a pest company, you're dialing 911, 911 move, pest, whatever it is. And if we're unable to move those people from feeling stressed to rescuing them, one of two things is going to happen. The first one is you get bashed online, right? That was a terrible experience. Don't use that company. But the more common one is what I call the shoulder shrug experience. Hey, use that mover or use that cleaning company. How was it? It's all right? So our job is to move people in that life transition from feeling that chaos, what am I going to do, and rescue them. And by doing that, I think that's moving the world, right? Because we're helping these people, but then you just have these things that happen organically, right? Whether it's the kid that was in the elevator with the elderly lady and he got on all fours and she sat on his back and all of a sudden that goes viral. You should put that photo up. Hunks saving the day, right? Like that's going to happen organically when you hire for attitude and train for skill. But moving the world is really about delivering a phenomenal customer experience and a phenomenal team member experience.
Yes.
Right.
And these things evolved over time, and once we kind of created them, they haven't changed. We've reinforced them through repetition, and it becomes part of our DNA, part of our standards. The other thing that you created was the Hunks acronym. Talk about why we created that and why that's become such a critical part of our brand promise.
So the honest story, I was going to a conference and I was like, man, I do not want to answer if they're all really Hunks another time.
We got sick of
I was sick of answering that. So I'm sitting on the plane just like, all right, it's making an acronym, and it just worked. Honest, uniform, nice, knowledgeable. I think at the time it was honest, uniform, nice, knowledgeable students. Now it's service, honest, uniform, nice, knowledgeable service. And that was it. It was like I was tired of answering if they're all really Hunks. And now I can say yes. We can say yes. They are all really Hunks.
By our definition.
Yeah, by our definition. And that's our product. That's what we sell. We sell that. We're in the business of selling trust, right? You letting strangers into your home. You want to be able to trust that they're going to take care of your house. They're going to do right by your family, and that you can trust them to get the job done with care.
Yep. Absolutely. And another slogan that I credit you with, which I talk about in my speeches all the time and podcast interviews for that matter, is that we needed the right balance of Wall Street and Sesame Street. So talk about kind of how that evolved and how you would describe it. I know how I think of it.
I mean, I think, it's a lot of slogan. I don't just come up with slogans all day. But yeah, more Sesame.
But they're relevant. I mean, you
Right.
think about great coaches; they're always great with the
Just the
one-liners,
one-liners.
and you know, they stick. People connect with them.
Yeah, so more Wall Street, less Sesame Street, I think came from when we went a little bit too heavy on culture is everything, which it is, but the culture that we thought it had to be was everything is nice and we're making everybody feel good and we are a little bit conflict avoidant. We're not.
We were missing accountability.
Accountability, right? And so, not that Wall Street is all that, but I think the right balance of like ruthless accountability and leaning into conflict, right? You know, and sort of that sort of feel good warmth of Sesame Street and the ruthless accountability of Wall Street.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect mix. It's like we've got to perform on the field. We got to have people that we want to hang with in the locker room.
That's right.
And I think to your point, we read these books about culture, and we were just creating all these warm and fuzzies.
It's fun. You got to feel good.
And the minute we started holding people accountable, we were like, "Hey, that's not nice.
Right.
You're not in line with our culture." We were like, "Damn, what did we do wrong?
Yeah.
We messed up somewhere."
That's right.
And then you said we need more Wall Street, less Sesame Street. I said you're right. We need the right mix, because if it's all Wall Street, people are stabbing each other in the back. There's no loyalty. There's no passion. There's no purpose.
Mm-hmm.
If it's all Sesame Street, it's a kinder care. It's a daycare, and you're coddling to people, and there's a level of entitlement maybe, and you got to create this where, I've heard it said many different ways now, warm on people, cold on numbers, or you can't have the soft stuff doesn't work if it doesn't accompanied by performance-based toughness. And you look at world championship teams, they're ruthless with each other in terms of accountability.
Yeah.
And, Brene Brown, who's a great leadership guru, will say, clear is kind. If you're being direct to somebody, you're not hurting their feelings, you're helping them.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what we have committed to as founders is we're helping people get better. We're helping people become best versions of themselves, best leaders. Building leaders is one of our core values. So if we're not pushing people to be their best and we're not calling out their blind spots, and that goes with you and me too, which I think to your point, we've, had to learn to become less conflict avoidant with each other and with, our peers.